Ready? Hello and welcome to a new episode of Heroes and Generals Devstream, live from Copenhagen. I am Walter White, and with me is the Cobra Commander. Is that your new nickname?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Gargamel, and with me is Retro Red Bjarne, and we are going to talk a little bit about Christmas. But before, we have to talk about Thanksgiving, because we just went through that. Apparently, people had fun for Thanksgiving because we saw that a lot of people used our free vouchers that we were giving away last weekend. So now it's of course it's done, but we are starting a new thing. We just released also the Zhukov update last week, so we are seeing that it is stable and that people seem to really like the new the weapon skins. Also, I've been seeing people around with there's three limited edition weapon skins that are being sold right now and until Christmas.
Yeah, and actually,
we'll show them later.
Yeah, one thing is that some people I've heard is confused that we'll take them away again.
But
we won't.
But they're staying.
Obviously, yeah, they're staying.
If you buy them.
If you buy them, they're staying. We just pull them off the shop.
There has been some limited stuff before. It's just not a lot of people remember it, and I sometimes get people saying, "Hey, how come this American guy is walking around with a Russian submachine gun?" It's a limited thing that
we usually try and let people keep what they already got, and then if we change direction somehow, and that's just the way it is. Sometimes, obviously, we have to do a major change, but the Christmas skins will stay, so you will not lose them.
You can see that some work went into it. And, they're really, actually, if you full screen that's one of them.
Oh, I have a message here. Just a second. From way too bad _NL is asking if I can ask Robotron to answer his private message in the forum. Can you do that, Robotron?
Told us to look at the chat. That's what we're doing. So, if you have any private messages for Robotron, no.
Don't spam.
If we can full screen the like background picture I got. Yeah, that's the. It's kind of hidden. Yeah, this. I really like this detail with the skull with a pipe. And I realized at some point that it's like
another zombie saying you have a nice outfit. Actually, another zombie. Yeah.
He's not the same zombie, is he?
No, he's
a different one. But speaking of zombies, now I really like this little thing with the skull that's smoking a pipe. But I realized that it's like the expression only exists in French, but the casse-pipe, the pipe breaker, that's what they used to call the front line. Okay. If you're going to certain death, you're going to the pipe breaker.
All right.
Because if you break your pipe, if you're smoking it, at the moment that it gets broken, it's probably because you got shot in the face.
Okay. So it's not like an ad for anti-smoking.
No, it's a skull going like, yeah. might as well smoke. I don't care. And so, serious now. We will show the rest of the skins also, and there has been a small hotfix apparently on Tuesday about that concerns both models of Panzer II.
Yeah. We got some complaints from people that we weren't
strong enough.
No, they weren't.
No, that's not true, right?
They weren't historically correct. They had too much ammo, like 20 shot magazines, and obviously, doing a little bit of more research, we found out it was actually true. They only had 10 magazines in that's simply not enough space inside those small tanks. So we lowered the amount of shots per magazine.
But that's a while ago.
Yeah, right. that actually caused the Panzer II, both of them, to be kind of like a bit too hard to use. I think it was going a bit too much in the wrong direction. So we decided to buff it a bit.
So now they're back to having 20.
No. They still have 10, but we buffed the damage instead.
You buffed the damage. I thought you gave more rounds to the magazines.
Nope.
Okay. So they are still reloading.
Yeah.
After 10 shots, but
reloading after 10 shots.
But the shots are more powerful.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So because that's the version I heard was that they got killed when they were stuck reloading.
Yeah. That's kind of.
But so you have
to. If you're going up with with a Panzer II, you could try and play a bit with some of your friends and work in pairs instead, and you won't have those problems.
But I guess if it's Yeah, it's fair to say how much. The damage got boosted 50%. I have it here actually. So your damage should be 50% more against other tanks and other vehicles
All
also.
vehicles,
So it's actually going to shoot up trucks and.
I've been following a few Twitchers lately on the new tanks, and it seems like it's okay. I think people are pretty happy about it. So that's great. I think. But it's not to be not meant to be like an end-all super weapon. It's just to give you a little bit, get the sort of like the end Soviet and also the end Soviet and German tanks to get a bit closer to the Chaffee. Obviously, the Chaffee is just a beast because of the 70mm cannon. It's just a crazy tank. Take it as a challenge.
But I think you told me the other day that the way it was roughly balanced, so it was that you should be able, with a fully equipped, for example, high tier light tank,
you still have
to kind of defend yourself,
the better ammunition and everything. So, but again, it's going to be interesting to in a few weeks' time to see the statistics on how the performance actually is, and we might do a bit of tweaking there as well. But
and that was for and also we did some hot fixes just before today. Now the live servers are open again. I don't know, actually, instead of telling them, tell them. Sorry about the downtime just before. We had just this last little hot fix before we could start the weekend proper. And actually, I'm going to show you what's going on this weekend. And I think at the same time, it's a good time to go and look at the encounter map again. I'm just going to start the action game here.
This is little.
People had such small heads.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's just in front of the screen, so I have to move it.
So I don't know where to start, because we could start by discussing a little bit of what people's reaction to the encounter map is, because we've had I think some people say that we should have more capture points on this map.
But that sort of like defeats the purpose of the game mode.
So I guess it bears repeating what the point is with this map. And also we had people say like there should be there should be a tutorial instead, but this is the tutorial, isn't it?
We're considering making another encounter style map, but with a different level design, where instead of having a small area you capture, we have to capture, then we'll do a much more exposed area, but in a larger map. So the capture zone will actually be only to end the game, turning the map into more like a team deathmatch style map, where you actually just have to exhaust the other's resources rather than capturing, because it would be.
It's hard to stay in.
It would just be pure suicide if you have the radio sitting in the middle of an open space. Then nobody would be able to go there, and you would actually have a different objective on the map by just eliminating all the enemies. So that's one of the
concept for the next one.
Yeah, that's sort of like a variation of the map type that we are looking into, and that would actually also be really great for a tank only map, where you only use the capture zone to actually end the game if the other side is just camping, and the rest of the game is just about annihilating the other guys. So that's kind of like some of the stuff that we would like to use this game mode for.
But we've been hearing about how deadly grenades were in this map. But if actually there you go, because people kind of have a tendency to walk in through this door.
Yeah.
But really, this is just as valid. And if you're quick about it, and if you come in through the top floor, you got this to protect you, and you got a fairly good view of what's going on downstairs.
Yeah. It's like
and you got these boxes you can hide.
There's a lot of if you just think that you have to be on the first floor of the level, then you are clear of all the grenades, and you can actually do the opposite of bouncing grenades from the inside on the walls, because people who would be going through the walls or through the doors would be getting your grenades instead.
Yeah. So also like this, for example, you can do this.
But obviously, it might be. We will be looking into limiting the grenades a bit, because it is I've seen the level. It can be quite hectic with a ton of grenades, and it's just gets too much.
I found something.
Wow.
So that's that's one of the things you'll be seeing. It starts today actually. So we made a blog announcement about it. So these crates contain sorry, I was like saying the fountain. They contain the weapon of the weekend, and this weekend it's submachine guns. So we have every day of this weekend, so today, Saturday and Sunday, a different submachine gun will be featured in these Christmas crates that are they're scattered a little bit all over the every map actually, and so depending on the map size, there's a different amount of crates. Actually, I have the amount here. It's 15 to 17 possible spawn points scattered across every map. And for example, if I go and I'm going to show you one more and then I stop. This one's fairly obvious if you think like, Santa Claus and his and his sleigh. So it's so every one of these boxes they spawn randomly, and they spawn only once per game. So you have to basically start a new game to have a new batch of boxes. So you'll have between 5 and 10 boxes randomly appearing in each game that you play, and various. I mean, I have no idea where they are. Besides on this map, I haven't even tried to.
I have no idea where they are.
So they're really it's Dishy who plays them, right?
Yeah.
It's Reto Dishy, level designer. So he put them all over the place. Good luck. But each crate will contain. Today is going to be the Pepe Chat, and then tomorrow you have the Thompson, and the last day is the MP40. And then we'll have another weapon next weekend. Maybe we're not going to talk about it yet, but. And so the idea is that you get to try the SMGs for the high-end SMGs of each faction, and they're also on sale until Sunday in the shop. You get basically 25% off the featured weapon. Did I just do that? Look at that! You can actually do that. I didn't even. I would have thought that I would. Well, now I'm sliding, but. I'm going to do that next time. So, I didn't think you could. All right. So this being said, I just want to make sure that I've said everything there is to say about these crates. Well, of course, it's like picking up a weapon. If you die, you lose it.
It's actually one guy is asking. British Bot Dog is asking if we can extend the labyrinth of tunnels. This map is probably not going to be worked that much more on. We'd rather be working, creating some more maps. It has been one of our beginner maps, so we will not expand further on this one. It's actually really hard to do tunnels properly without just confusing, especially new players. I remember when one time back in the old days when we were working on one of the Hitman games, we started doing these sewer systems where Hitman could go down and come up in other buildings and stuff, and it just never ceased to amaze me how little I have to do on the tunnels to confuse people. You go down, and if this repeating stuff, you just go straight, left, right, and then you're just lost. You go, where the fuck? Where
did I come from?
Yeah.
And,
so adding a big elaborate labyrinth of tunnels underneath, it would just people just get stuck down there. I guess they would never find their way out again. So that would probably be dangerous to do.
But also, I mean, is it okay if I mention that? Like, it's the tunnels. They're kind of restricted as to where you can put them, right? They can only be under under this building. You made a special
our technology is not really made for the tunnels. We don't have the rendering system we use is not capable of doing what you would call inside lighting. So every light, all the buildings inside is actually just one big shadow. That's why some of the graphics look a bit like flat on the inside because you don't have the shadows and the proper light.
You can't cast shadows inside
No,
a tunnel?
because you're standing in the middle of a shadow. Everything is shadowed, and it's just when you go down in the sewer, that everything gets into a shadow. So it just gets very like
flat
looking.
Yeah.
And if you start to put a light in, it only light up some of the textures, but it won't cast shadows, and it just doesn't really look that nice. So that's why we would rather wait. We'll like do proper tunnels and sewers and everything when we have a proper inside lighting system.
So that's a whole new feature that would have to be built to make everything look better.
Yeah.
But so I mean, otherwise I had played a few games where everything, the whole party was in there. Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah. And also because we cannot define what is inside and outside, then the weather effects, the fog and everything, and day and nighttime lighting would be in the basement as well.
But it's true that if you change the where the light comes from, like wait, how?
But it works in this
like here
level, I think.
Yeah,
it's
here
fine.
you can really see that.
And again, it's nothing that it's more like an immersion thing than an actual gameplay thing. So because it's the same for everybody. So it's not something that breaks the game. It's
but with this kind of light, it looks cool, I must say. With the light coming from just the.
Yeah, it's okay.
It does the job. I find. I mean, I like hanging out in the tunnels. It's just the idea that you kind of hear like spray and pray and grenades and everything. Everything is kind of allowed. You know, you don't.
But I think it works well as an alternative way into the capture area. So it's I can live with the fact that it's not rendering wise perfect. So
next point was, by the way, that we have the Christmas special edition weapon skins are going on.
Det er museflik.
So it's this one. So our art department came up with these. I don't know what the adjective should be.
Go easy on the mouse movements.
Yeah. To avoid causing motion sickness.
No, but people are looking at it and they go, "Whoa,
yeah,
shit,
exactly.
This is fast."
Exactly. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Oh no. Where's my cache? Did I just drop it? I just did that. Okay. I'm gonna do this. So in case this is the first time you see it, this is the Soviet Christmas skin, and I really like that. It's made to look like it was applied by a guy with very basic gear. Like he had a brush and some paint, and he painted it like it's a homemade. What do you call that? Field applied camo, right? But
that was the whole thing. But especially the short, but especially the Americans also had like their camouflage doctrine was just like, just go do it yourself.
I'm gonna disable the GUI because the whole now the game is over, but I told it to not end, so I keep getting the capture message. So you have this one. Then if I give myself the Thompson. Oh, we saw that one before, but I'm gonna go and whoops. There, that's the one. Again with. But there's no other way to do it. Yes. Pretend you didn't see anything. But so yeah, that's the one I was showing before with the smoking death head right there. And then there's the MP40. Whoop, that's not the one. That's the guy. There it is. That one looks like.
That's nice.
Like something
that's
from.
Awesome.
It's the adjective I think of is jazzy, which is. I think it's the last thing you would.
I think it's cool,
but it's really nice. It's like this kind of cheetah pattern.
No, but also I really like these more like disruptive patterns.
Yeah,
everybody always thinks about it has to be either black or goes into like a wooden camo. But actually, some of these things are pretty good at in urban settings. So I think it's cool.
It's. I mean, honestly, it's so unusual. I mean, the last thing I expected to see when I thought like German camouflage, and it's really cool. I mean, it's got this little just this like outline of a kind of Christmas tree blitz thing. Oh, it's really nice. So, this being said, these are the skins that are on sale until the 25th. Is it? Let me just go and look at the actual message.
That's way too bad. _Anna is saying, you all know that the M1 Carbiner is the best weapon in the game. Red Bjarne confirmed it before. I'm not sure if it's the best weapon still.
Which one?
We haven't looked at the stats recently.
What, the MP40?
No, the M1 Carbine.
Aha.
It's every time we put in new weapons in the game, the stats change because obviously it seems like everybody wants to play with the new gun, which is sort of like...
January 5th, sorry. I had to mention that. So, so you can get these skins until January 5th. Yeah.
Maybe we should take out some more stats and show it on one of the streams, because it seems like people are really interested in these stats. It's just sad that most of the time it like doesn't really matter what we say about the stats. It's if it doesn't suit people, it's just like, oh, it's just wrong stats.
It's just the wrong numbers.
And it's not. I hate to say it, but it is. They are pretty correct.
I think I should go through the rest of what's going on for Christmas.
Yeah, it's the M1, M2, obviously, that's the best one because it's the high firing rate.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Yes, there is a... so the sale on SMGs, though, that one ends on Tuesday. There is a Christmas picture competition also, and I'm going to show the blog post where we... It's actually fairly long because there's a kind of short story that comes with it. So you have this here with the. I really like that poster also.
Yeah, that's nice.
Kind of, is it originally like it looks German? The design really looks German. It's
old and German.
So there is here the list of everything we're doing for Christmas, and there. At the end are the details. It says screenshot. It doesn't even have to be a screenshot. It could be anything really. If you can like dress up and do some kind of, the sky's the limit, heroes and generals themed
something
that is so insane that it makes our hair fall out when we look at it. It's
for you. It would
for me, it's
it's gonna fall out
exactly. So so it has to be some kind of a still picture, and it has to have a heroes and generals theme, and you have to submit it before December 21st. And of course, it cannot contain any copyrighted material. So it's like you can't.
I have a question here from Yenf991. I think I've heard this question a few times before.
When does the Panther come out?
Oh no, not that one.
Not that one.
When are we getting new stuff for the American faction? We have the least of everything.
No, they have everything. There is nothing else.
We are going to sort of like it might vary what faction we add stuff to. So I can't guarantee that we'll just add a bunch of American stuff for the next update. But obviously we try to somewhat balance the adding of new weapons and vehicles going forward. And to be honest, I think the Soviets have had a few missing parts that I think we are very close to having put in place now. So
because you kind of started out with a little bit less stuff.
Yeah. Now we're down to like it would be nice for them to have their own motorcycle, for example. But it's not something that's completely breaking the game. So, but obviously, yes, we will add new stuff for the Americans at some point. We add new stuff for all the factions. Yeah.
So,
but I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm not going to say anything. Maybe we're going to add the Maybe we're gonna add a captured panther for the Americans.
We start with that one.
Yeah.
The Americans get the panther first. He's joking.
I have to say that was sarcasm. They also actually telling us we should do what do you call it, Santa Claus hats for players. I think that would just be too
The way
crazy.
you removed that, I thought it was like an 18th century tricorn. That I would like that.
No Christmas hats. The kill cam doesn't show. It's like Broken Shield 4.
Broken Shield.
Broken Shield 4 is saying
Thor
the kill
and Broken
cam
Shield.
doesn't show custom weapon skins. Considering how expensive they are, do you think you could change that? I actually thought they did.
That was saying. Considering how expensive they are. What?
The kill
cam doesn't show weapon skins. No, it does.
It does.
It most certainly does.
Yeah, I think maybe he's mentioning the little window that pops up. The image on that one doesn't show the skin.
Oh, that yeah. No, that doesn't.
No,
that doesn't, because it's the same. It's just a limited selection of icons that you have for that.
I think we talked about that at some point. That how to. I think it's something to do with it. Just a massive amount of memory it takes up to load all the, because it's not dynamically loaded those images. So we just have to fill up your graphics card memory with little icon-y thingies
that you don't necessarily use.
Yeah, so but obviously, it would be nice to actually show that stuff on the little pop-up as well.
Yeah.
I think that's what he means, because I think the...
No, because if you look at the guy himself, the model of his character that's running around shooting you, he will have the same textures.
The kill cam, it doesn't... in close quarters, it does, but...
But I mean, the kill cam doesn't... it depends. If the guy's like super far away, the LOD...
you won't see it anyway.
You won't see it, yeah.
No.
So...
I mean, if it doesn't... If I'm confused.
No, well, we'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah.
We'll see if...
let's see if there's more stuff.
Because we did go
small
again quite fast.
Iglaros is saying a small window for tank driver to see where tank is going when gunner aims in different direction. I have no idea what this means, other than if you're driving, you are also the gunner. Yeah, well, if you're driving and you're also turning your turret sideways, you want to see where you're going. Yeah. So wouldn't that be super confusing that you just change direction? Just little. Yeah, but if you switch to the driver's seat and you suddenly change direction. I'm confused already. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I have to talk to the guys that actually sets up the tanks if that is something of a concern. I don't think it is, but yeah. What more do we have on today's? We went through it fairly fast, unfortunately. We could maybe kind of recycle some. There's Magic Mushy here. Magic Mushy 1 is asking, Red Bjarne, can you guys possibly introduce mobile AA in the future? Mobile anti-aircraft guns. What a strange concept. Yeah. No, I would say we would not do that. No. That's simply just game breaking every possible way. There are some questions coming up here. Fred the Chicken is asking, how soon are you planning on enabling bayonets to be fixed on guns? Everybody keeps asking about that. I don't think I think it's more like a thing that you would like to do rather than it being practical in the game. I guess it's kind of, a kind of fun idea to like remote stab people. Yeah. It's just I don't know. It sounds fun, but it also sounds like it's not really that useful. I don't know. People keep asking it because we have bayonets and we use them for stabbing. So obviously it would be nice to attach them to the rifle. In posters, they always have that.
This thing.
Yeah, because it looks cool.
It looks.
But some of them were actually pretty shitty. Especially the bayonet for the FT42 was like a long, pointy thingy, and it just fell off all the time. It's just like
really
the shittiest bayonet ever.
Wow.
It was super
like,
loose.
Come back!
Oh fuck! Then we're going on again here with the any plans for player model. It's like cozy carbon plans for player model eyelids.
Eyelids.
I like people to blink in the future. Karl Heinzer is also. What about adding the P Landkreuzer 1500 Ratte? It's a funny thing. We just added like the light tanks and we focus on stuff that's fun and fast
So
in the game. And everybody just wants like big heavy guns.
So not the mouse, the rat.
Oh, this is just this is an even bigger one.
It's the rat.
It's like a driving battleship or something.
Yeah.
I think I actually talked about this before. That I think some of those super weapons could be fun to add in the game, but not as you driving it personally. I think it would make sense to use it more like a level design thing, where these would make sense to have as coastal batteries, rather than the tank versus tank battles. That makes sense. Yeah, but that actually makes sense to have it as a sort of like a movable coastal battery for defense. And if you could incorporate it in a level design like that, I think that would be cool.
So you would have people basically running around in it.
Yeah.
But
it's such a crazy thing anyway. So it's but I think that in that context, I think it would be nice to have in a game. I don't think it would be something where you just buy it for your tank and just drive around. That would just be crazy.
By the way, when I remember visiting what's it called, Stjornsklint.
Yeah.
The NATO base. They have isn't it this turret? They have a large gun battery there that was I think originally taken from a destroyer. But is it the same kind of turret that they had on destroyers? Or
there was I think the Tirpitz after it was sunk, they pulled off the turrets and placed them as coastal defense. But I think that was in Norway. The Tirpitz got that was in Tromsø.
Right.
It was finally they got it in Tromsø.
They have it in.
Oh, you have it there.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm gonna. Yeah.
Is that the Tirpitz one?
Stjornsfjord. So that's a place in. It's actually if you're in Denmark or you're thinking of coming to Denmark, it's a really fun place to visit. It's a base that was originally was part of the German defenses, right? And they basically NATO expanded it after the war during the Cold War. So you have this gigantic battery that is taken from, I think, a warship, if I'm not mistaken, and that's also the entrance to underground galleries with tunnels. So, but I digress.
Yeah, I'm just gonna see if we have.
We have it. Maybe we can take a few more questions, because otherwise, I might as well go back to what we announced last week, that we have now an Instagram.
I'm looking for
gallery.
really fun questions, not just when is the Panther coming out. So if you can write some really interesting, weird questions, I'm gonna answer those instead.
In the meantime, I'm going to look at this picture and ask myself what exactly happened. They have some interesting accidents here in the...
Oh, there's
that's the...
Sorgo here's asking, F5 return, bipods, squad. There's like 3 questions in one. I actually saw Oxan working today on the scoreboard for the squad system. And he is fiddling around with trying to add some more of the data that was on the good old F5 scoreboard, but we're not going to add the F5 scoreboard again.
That scoreboard, that was a while ago.
It's a long time. It's dead and gone and buried, and it's not coming back. Yeah. But we are going to, when it's updating the current scoreboard, it's going to add some more stats to that, so it sort of like does the same thing. But we are considering having it so you can switch it off, because it gets like kind of like a lot of, like a huge spreadsheet.
There was a lot of data.
Yeah, so we might do like a simple version, advanced version, so you could switch it on and off or something like that. it's a lot of work. So right now we're just gonna try and fit in the how we're gonna put in the squad into the scoreboard, so you can see where your squad members are at the same time as you can actually see the rest of the guys that are playing on your faction and all that. We're also actually looking into somehow dividing the when we have 3-stage battles, 3-way battles. People get super confused about that they have like 6 versus 6 versus 6. They always think they're like, it's they all 12 versus 12. They think they're like 12 versus 24. They go, oh fuck, there's so many enemies, and it's like they're all fighting. So and it is kind of hard to communicate just that part. So it is being looked at. It will probably not be the F5 as in the old days, but we're going to put in some more stats that we think is used.
I remember that some players really liked the F5 scoreboard. They used it to really like scrutinize what everybody else on their team was doing. Like, you're useless to my team.
But it's also it's one of the things you would like to know. Tank kills, for example.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of how granulated should the data be? Should it be everything like a huge spreadsheet thing, or should we bundle some of it together to get it more overview? Also, that menu has to have some function. We're looking into it where you can sort of like click on the player and say, report this. He's being an asshole. Also, he's cool. I want to be like befriend people. So some of that stuff is coming in with the squad system. Squad system is going well. It's on its way. It's a fairly huge feature. It's not something that where you can say it's like a huge chunk of functionality, but it's just like it ties into so many aspects of the game. So a lot of people have to sort of like do their part to make it work. There's a ton of UI work in it, and the UI group have been basically tearing everything apart in order to make a proper good flow with the UI on the squad system. So that's one of the things where it actually took taking a lot of time to do.
It's like installing a new car stereo with new speakers in every door, and
it's but so far I think it
convertible roof.
It looks great. It's really looking forward to when it comes in.
It's actually I started checking it out also, then I think it's. It changes a lot of things, but at the same time, it keeps a lot of the things that people are used to.
Yeah, I think it's
going to be fine.
The thing that I think people are going to be used to is that we sort of like change the focus on the game to be you have to be in a squad. You cannot not be in a squad. You will be shoved into a squad no matter what. Obviously, when you get into an action game, you can choose to leave the squad, or if you're acting like an asshole, the squad can kick you, and then you'll be for the rest of a match be put into like a trash squad or whatever, like a squad of but like an auto-generated squad, a temporary squad, and when you get to the next battle, you will be together with those people, and then you can obviously leave, but you will always be put into a squad. And that's kind of like the whole thinking behind it is that the game plays so much better when you're playing with a few other people, and hopefully chat being a big part of it, that you can communicate with the other squad members, that you get into a group of people that can tell you a little bit about what you should do. That's why I think the reporting stuff might be useful as well, because it's like. We would encourage players to be friendly against new players who would like to try and learn the game rather than just shouting at them instead. So,
but also, I mean, there's always with that system. It's I don't like this guy. You don't have to talk to him. You can tell him. Yeah, you can just get out of my squad. But then you can also say, I don't like you. I don't like how you're talking to me. I'm going to go see another squad, and they're going to probably be nice.
But you're always going to be put in a squad.
But the idea that you don't have to always play with the same people, but you have to play with somebody. Yeah, I think it's going to work.
I hope it's going to work.
I think it can only help things.
Yes, but it's sort of like one of the things where the game sort of like takes a slight directional turn towards. It's a group game rather than a solo game. Obviously, you can always just exit the squads and play by yourself, or you will be put back into a squad for next match. So that's kind of like one of the things that we are working a lot on that feature.
So,
What more do they have?
are officially once again out of news, but I guess we could eventually maybe shorten this one. Anyway, next week we are skipping the Friday Twitch session because we have our Christmas lunch, which is a very late lunch, really. It's called a Christmas lunch, right? Technically, which is more like a dinner, but so
I think it's called Christmas dinner.
Yeah, dinner. But because frokost.
I think in
translated.
Danish it's usually because people just start drinking at 12 o'clock and then they eat something at 8 o'clock in the night and they're just gonna go.
Yeah, but we're doing it more civilized than that.
Are we?
Are we? A little bit.
What?
Yeah, something.
I hope not.
But I must say,
Let's see if there's
instead of teasing features that are not quite there yet.
There's one whose cozy cabin is asking us to show a picture of the clock tower that you can always hear. So
the clock tower that we
can find it on
actually. I think it's not the clock tower, but it's the other tower next to it. You sent an email the other day with the picture, and I just remembered it. Let me get that. There you go.
Oh, that's cool.
That it wasn't you. It was Robotron.
Robotron sending this. This is awesome.
I'm gonna save it, or I'm just gonna open it with the photo viewers as well.
There you go.
There it is. So
this is actually the town square just around the corner from our office.
We are behind that on that side, right? We're somewhere like
the bell tower is over here.
Yeah, so the bell tower that we hear is on the left side. We don't see it in the picture, but this is so a Panzer IV. That's like it's like
1943, right?
Yeah, and it's like 500 meters from our office. It's just so bizarre. And but the bell tower that we always hear.
Look at all those guys. They're just going, "What the fuck? Aren't you supposed to be in Russia? What the fuck are you doing in Copenhagen?"
Wait. So. Yes, please. And I'll show the bell tower that we're always hearing. Wait a minute, the picture is too small. I want a big one. Oh, that one. Wait a minute, does that?
It looks really old.
That's a very old one, right? Yeah, there's trams. Yeah, sorry. I'm gonna not show that one.
We don't have trams anymore. We have buses instead.
Can I just get a
strange
nice
decision?
Search tools, large. I guess that one's good enough. So there it is. So this one is the bell tower that we're always hearing.
Yeah.
And so basically this tower, if I'm not mistaken, no, it's not that one.
No.
That's another one.
It's actually from
one,
that picture you showed. This one is seen from the other angle of the first one.
Aha. Yeah. So the Panzer is actually it's like facing the other way around. Oh, yeah.
It's facing outwards of the picture.
Yeah.
So you could say this would be what the guy in the turret of the Panzer would see if he turned his head like 90 degrees to the left.
Now that we've established that.
Yeah, that's just like a...
And there was also, wait, where is it? This one. That was like the most expensive hotel in town, and that's where the Germans had their headquarters. Accidentally.
Also the one on the Bleidomsvej, near the General Hospital.
Which was the
what's called the headquarter of
the Masons.
The Masons, yeah, that was.
They used that too.
That was used by the SS.
Oh, yeah, because that one looks like. Oh wait, I have to show that one. Yeah.
And we had the terrible thing with the Shell building, which was also used by the Gestapo, and they had actually had the Danish, we call it freedom fighters. They put them on the top floor to use them as human shields, and the British actually bombed it anyway, using mosquitoes. sad thing about the story is that they actually bombed the wrong building at some point in the first try, and they hit like a girls' school instead. And
Yes. That was in 44, was it?
Yeah, that was nasty stuff.
Yeah.
It was really, really bad.
So there it is. That's the. I mean, could you get bigger columns? I didn't know that. So the Germans were using that one.
Yeah. They have to.
They have
Look
to.
at
It's
it.
like they're just magnetically attracted to columns. Like, must get close to the columns.
Hitler was going, I can use that for something. Big columns. I like classic stuff.
It's just so funny. But it's just so funny that this is like the Freemason building. It's like gigantic, and people are like, Freemasons are secretly controlling the world.
With big columns.
Big columns everywhere. Anyway, so yeah.
Yeah,
That
should
was
we
a little
just
bit
call
of
it a
history.
day?
Let's call it a day, and
Yeah.
we will see you when we come back. I just don't want to say something that is not true here because
Why not?
Why
not?
Because
Try it.
the 19th, we're still there, aren't we?
18th.
The 18th. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Absolutely. The 18th.
Oh,
We are still there, so we will be seeing you on the 18th. In the meantime, we will be uploading this episode to Twitch later and to YouTube, and you will be able to review what we were showing in the first part if you just walked in. We are also, it's possible to follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Twitch, Instagram, Spotify. No, that's just me singing.
I actually think I'll just Roboton just
Oh.
sent me a link here with the.
Oh yeah, that's
There you
the
go.
yeah.
If you Google Schalburg,
Oh yeah, the Schalburg
Schalburg Corps was like the
Yeah.
that was like the Danish SS.
Yeah. There you go. And they had. So that's
So
the
there
thing you were
that's the
looking
same
at. So
building,
that was the
just
same
with, like-
building with.
that was not our finest moment, I would say.
No. And they, but it's, so that guy, so Schalburg was also it was already dead by the time, right?
Yeah,
They didn't name like living guys as
No.
you get your own division.
He had it on the Eastern Front, I think.
Yeah. So we will be coming back not next week but in 2 weeks, and in the meantime, I guess we'll be out on the servers if you want to try and find us. So thanks for watching.
Yeah, and
Thanks for playing.
Playing, yeah.
And have a nice weekend.
Bye bye.